Item 6, Woodbridge Child Center, the food truck event. Hi.
Nice kid.
1.5.
Give us $7.
This is kid.
Closer to 5.
Really?
And then the clubhouse.
I just built the house in North Carolina.
Okay, all you have, oh, I'm sorry. All you have, I'll open it up to you guys. Betsy's been involved in this with working with you, so state your name and address just for the record, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm Susan Latelier. I live at 19 Mansell Road in Woodbridge, and I'm here this evening to represent the Woodbridge Child Center. I'm a member of the board, and what we would like to propose is a food truck festival to help a fundraising effort for the center. We're proposing to hold this event on September 28th here in the town green. We would like to have maybe 5 food trucks if we can secure that many. What we're doing is reaching out to food trucks who already participate in events in the green, either on the Thursday night concert series or the Food Truck Fridays, so that they already have all of their required permits through the police department secure and the insurance that's required by the board of selectmen to participate in that type of event. We're not going to charge admission or anything like that. What we're asking the food trucks to do is to donate 15% of their end of the evening proceeds back to the center. That's it.
Okay. So I'll open it up to comments and questions from the board.
When were you considering this?
For September 28th.
This is to raise funds for the entire center or just for the?
Yeah, for the entire center. We are in a position right now where we're kind of just making ends meet. We need some additional funds to help provide some new, like items for the school, furniture and things like that. We need to paint the classrooms. We just had to put new mulch down in our playground. That ate into our budget quite a bit. And we also like to look into some professional development courses for our teachers. So some education courses. So depending on how much money we can raise, we'll allocate the funds accordingly.
Do you have a rain date?
We don't have a rain date. We probably should have a rain date. We're all very new to this.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I know. We actually have a thunderstorm warning till 6:45.
Really?
Okay.
3 more minutes.
Yeah, probably it would be the next day or maybe the following weekend. The problem is that we're trying to book around or secure a weekend where there is no other food truck festival in the area, and Hamden has one the following weekend. So we would probably have to do it either Saturday or Sunday if that's easy.
Okay.
So how many trucks?
Maybe 5 if we can. Yeah.
Okay.
And during the day, this is like lunch hour cut. Oh, in the evening. I'm sorry,
Yes,
I missed
sorry,
that.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Evening, yeah.
So some of the things that I think you might, I don't know if you've handled this or yet, custodial service on the weekend would have to get taken care of.
Yes.
Permits from
The police department.
Woodbridge Police Department, you know about that, and I believe insurance of some kind.
Event
Correct?
insurance.
Vendor insurance, okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that I forgot?
I don't think so. And you cleared the date through recreation, make sure there's no other use on the green or anything.
You have to run both dates by if you're going to do 2 dates, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, with a rain date. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Just to get it started, I'll make a motion that we approve this for, as the project is described with all the particular permits and custodial services, etc., as mentioned, for September 28th with a rain date of September 29th. And the hours are?
I believe we'll do probably starting at 5:30, and it'll probably be a 2-hour event, I would imagine.
Okay. And you'll take care of advertising and
We'll
stuff
take care
like
of
that?
advertising.
Okay.
And we'll just work with Betsy. Okay.
Just let me ask Betsy, is there anything I forgot? 'Cause you kind of
No, I
worked
think
with
that
her.
covers it. The
Okay.
police permit, the insurance, the reservation of the space, and the custodial services.
Okay. And
rec, you said rec was already.
rec has already been informed and they're okay. Will this require closing of the road, or you're just going to have people park like we do for the concerts and then just walk right
I
to
spoke with the police and they didn't think that would be
Okay.
necessary.
I just
You know,
wanted
if
to
we're
ask.
talking
Okay.
about 50 food trucks, that would be a different ballgame.
Okay, so I made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion or questions or anything on this? Or call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Say no, does that mean you're not, you're voting in favor?
Yeah, I'm voting in favor.
Okay.
I got a report a phone call here.
Oh, okay, I'm
I
sorry to
apologize.
disturb you. Okay,
you.
great, all right, so you're all set, and
Thank you very much.
you're very
Good luck.
welcome, good luck.
Thank you all. Thank you.
I'm sure my husband will be there.
I will be in Colorado, my son's wedding, so I won't make it. I'm sorry.
That's okay, you'll be there in spirit, right?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we did item 7. Item 8, Eagle Scout project. Hello, welcome. And I will introduce Michael Bache with his dad. Eric, how are you? Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Michael Bache and I'm a Boy Scout from Troop 41 in Woodbridge. And I'm here tonight to talk about the Woodbridge Community Signboard as a proposal for my Eagle Scout project. So the purpose of this are for municipal, schools, community, churches, nonprofit, and other public organizations for them to post notices about any events that may be happening. And the locations that these would be at are Fitzgerald Field, Peace Place, the transfer station, and West River ball fields. So here's a map of the different locations that these signs would be at throughout Woodbridge. So the designs will match a pro's wayfinding signs designed to keep a uniform look throughout Woodbridge. And the materials will be returned based on the final approval of the signs in the different locations, and they will be built to require a minimal amount of maintenance, and the color scheme will match the approved design, and the funding through this will be partially done throughout donations.
Say that again, partially funded?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the other part?
What's the other partial?
This is just the first step. I'm not completely sure. It's just I participated in these events in the past, and I just know donations is part of it. So that's all.
I can speak on behalf of the Scout. I'm the Scoutmaster from Troop 41
Hello,
as well.
okay, good.
So I'm Leader Home Base. I'm also sitting on the EDC for full disclosure. So a lot of the programs actually are donated. So a lot of materials are donated, paint, wood, things like that. Some of it is actually funded through the troop and additional information. Usually the family donates a significant portion to support this project. That's not to say that there will not be a shortcoming, but we try to avoid any shortcomings in terms of funding by doing troop drives, by soliciting family and friends, things like that. So as a Scoutmaster, we try to do that throughout the community that supports the troop. But again, there's still
So if, for
things
example, there was a shortfall in funding, you may build less, because I
Correct.
can't speak for the whole board, but I don't think we,
So
I don't know.
am I to
we wanna fund
understand
this, or come up with
this young
shortfall.
gentleman's gonna build those wayfinding signs?
Go ahead.
Something very
So
similar to-
the what we had talked about back in, I think it was June, was the concept to hopefully eliminate some of the A-frame signs that are used for
the A-frame,
events,
okay, so
right?
those are the
And
ones.
so what he's proposing is what we had discussed, which is using the
A-frame stuff, this wayfinding
right,
signs.
the look and feel of the wayfinding sign, but with the functionality of the image on the left, so that we could have more events advertised simultaneously.
Okay, great. I like that.
Oh, that's nice.
I like that, but,
Great.
but back to the cost to the town.
We,
I
again-
can't speak on behalf of, I'm one person out of 6, but my opinion would be there probably would not be town funding available. It would be up to the full board to know if you want to.
I think if we knew what that might be, we'd have a better conversation.
Yeah.
And we are, right now Michael's in the process of determining all that information because
Okay.
we needed to see what the next step was, similar to the proposal beforehand,
Right.
if there's some approval ahead of time, then we can continue to do the research and present again.
Got it.
But from our perspective, from the troops' perspective, this kind of supports the community, because the whole thing with Boy Scouts is we're supporting our local community. We want to make sure that we're doing something that's going to benefit everybody, not just one particular demographic. So by placing it around the town and all these different locations, we kind of can support that, and supports the community at large, because they're able to see, instead of the A-frame signs like at the corner of 114 and 63, there's a general location where people can follow the process to post their signs as required.
Yeah, I like it. I don't
Yes,
know.
sir.
Are you doing this as an Eagle Scout project?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
You are, okay. So, I mean, in my experience with the Scouts, it's it's not all that difficult to get donations from, especially Home Depot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Discussions have already been had with Home Depot.
I don't think funding is going to really be a consideration here.
So you make up the show?
Get out of the chair.
No, but I've
I've
been
been
consistent with the
through
wayfinding
these
studies
projects
as far as
and-
design and
yeah.
things of that nature is
Absolutely. So
concerned.
that's why this design actually we received this information from Betsy, and sitting on the EDC, I've been involved with the wayfinding project as well. So understanding that the look and the feel will match. We don't want something that's going to not match the image of the town and the sign.
That also went so far as to indicate where signs should be and things of that nature. Is
Yes.
this consistent with that as well, do you know?
Actually, this was information that was provided to us from a previous selectmen meeting. So those were the established locations which
That
were
what you were
listed.
looking at?
Right.
Okay, so I got them.
Yeah, Fitzgerald, Greenfield.
Yeah,
these ways.
4 of them.
Yep.
So I have a question.
Oh, 4.
Since this was brought up at a selectmen meeting, because of complaints about the appearance of the A-frames and congestion of the
Yeah, some were 2x4s, and you have to pull
Yes,
over to basically
and I think we
read
were all in
everything.
agreement that the town would benefit from having a unified process and look. Would we not fund this, but at least help facilitate their ability to get funds by putting it on our website so that anybody that isn't aware, who's watching tonight could support this, since it is supporting the town?
Legally okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. We can do it legally, you have to check. Okay.
Curious.
And again, the intention is, of course, to get as much of it covered via donations and family gifts and so on and so forth. So.
Okay.
So if we approve it, right, and they go forward, then I guess what we're hearing is we wait till the end, and we hope that they get donations and everything and it's paid for. If it's not, you come back to us and say,
We can come back with a
We need
modified plan to say, okay, we may not do all 4 locations because we're able to receive funding for 3 of them.
Or
Oh, I
if,
see. Okay, so-
or if maybe the board's inclined.
at the time, if we were inclined to initiate.
Yeah, if you can't do it.
We can give alternative.
Give us the difference.
Right,
you know.
and the way it's designed right now is that it's actually, I don't know if you noticed the triple sign. So
Mhm.
if it means that we can get by with a double sign and still match the same thing to facilitate having more, all the locations done, absolutely. We just want to make sure we maintain the look and the feel of the current wayfinding project.
Do you have a timeline on this? I think they're so great, I want
So
them.
the expected amount of time for this project will be 100 hours, and that's including the planning and the actual construction and getting everything approved.
I meant in terms of how long it will take you once you start and once you're not sure. It's okay.
I mean, not probably a couple months. It shouldn't be
Oh,
too
wow.
lengthy of a process.
Wow.
The key question is, how old are you and when do you age out?
I'm 17. I just my birthday was on August 2nd, so I have
Okay.
a little less than a year to go.
He has to get this done before he turns 18.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the answer to the question.
Okay, that's
thank
good to
you.
know. So we should act on this tonight,
We
give us
should.
kids some
Okay,
time
Terry,
to
would
get.
you like to make that motion?
I would like to make the motion to approve the Boy Scout Eagle project for the town
Community signboard.
community sign board. Thank you.
Yes.
As
I would like to
as
second
presented
that.
tonight.
As
Is there a
presented.
second?
I would like to second that.
Good for you.
I'd
Any
like
other
to vote in
discussion?
favor.
I don't, just very quickly, I'd like to say it'd be nice to see this as a first step in that wayfinding project as a whole, so it's something to,
Right.
I think it's tremendous,
Good
thank
point.
you. And
Yeah,
it would be
thank you.
nice to kind of
Right.
keep something going as far as.
Just on that note, I guess I'll say it. When I was at the Rosa event that I mentioned last week, I not attacked, but I kind of went after one of her people and said, we need funding for our wayfinding sign project. So who knows? But she
maybe
took
we
it
can-
from me, and I plan to follow up.
It would be great to get some information as to what the costs are, so you can
Absolutely.
know sooner rather than later if there's someplace else we can get money.
Right.
Absolutely. And we,
Thank you.
Michael's,
Yeah.
actually, we have to start doing phone calls to
Okay.
local providers.
You
see
guys
what
stay in
we're-
touch with Betsy when you want to get stuff up, and she'll
Thank you.
pop it up on her website and
Yeah.
help you out too. So the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, and good luck.
Yeah, they're-
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, okay. Thank you. Moving right along. You're next, Tom. Item 9, Administrative Officer, Director of Finances report.
Okay. First is the tax refunds.
First item is 9A, the tax refunds. You have in your packet a memo from our tax collector, Pat Crisco. And there are no personal property refunds, there are no real estate refunds, motor vehicle refunds total $7,642.48, which is the total amount she's requesting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Radio system update on item 9B. You have in your packet, I don't know if you want to.
Well, I could
Take
just
it,
say that we
Joe.
went out to bid and for the civil work for the radio program, and the low bidder was the construction services of Brantford, and that's $179,734. And they also were the same firm that put the power up at the police. So we have very recent history with them. They did an excellent job, and on time, very little problems. So they're highly recommended.
Yeah,
Within our budget.
And the ad hoc committee recommended to the board that we approve that.
Joe's the chairman of
Yeah.
that committee, so thank you.
And the two chiefs are on it, so,
Right.
you know, all the stakeholders, so we will approve. That committee approved, recommending approval for this board.
Do you want to make a motion and then we'll have further discussion if needed? Joe?
I would make a motion that we approve the bid award for civil work by, can you give me that name?
Construction services of Brantford.
Thank you. With respect to the radio system project that we have here in town.
I'll second that. Thank you. Any further discussion on this?
Within budget, too.
It is, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
that's a good point.
Important.
Thank you. Okay. Any other discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that was unanimous. Thank you. Item C, funding requests.
So there's funding requests are mainly for the senior center bathroom and ramp project, which is D in terms of awarding the contract. And so one sort of,
Anybody have an opposition to switching them?
you might want to switch
We'll go
it.
D first?
Yeah.
Okay. So. Do we have that in here?
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
my copy, did we get that one?
Yeah, I was handing out this evening.
Okay,
You can
that's
signature.
it's not in my package, okay. Oh, you want to take it?
Sure.
Thank you.
So we went out to bid on May 23rd, and we went over some of this our last meeting. I included the budget and the 3 bidders, and we went back to see if there were any ways that we could value engineer the project and see if the bids were overvalued, and to see if we can get more grant money. Grant money was not forthcoming, and so the state had indicated we had to stick to our original budget. So after we got through that process, there were no significant value engineering items without impacting the project, and that was something that we didn't want to do. So we also tested some of these figures, and they were pretty close to where they should be, to see if they were overvalued. So
So we're still 80,000.
Correct.
over,
Yeah.
or thereabouts.
right. So there's some funding requests to address that, should you decide to do that.
I just had a question about the bid proposal. Was alternate 1 in lieu of doing project 2, or was it like the bathroom part
Alternate-
was the alt one?
No. Item 1 is the bathroom. Item 2 is the ramp. Alternate 1 was an additional pump to help with the bathroom.
So that
Something we can do at a later date, or we could maybe find out about our budget, our maintenance budget or something.
okay. I wasn't sure what it tied to.
Yeah.
Okay,
It wa-
thank
it's
you
an
for
extra.
clarifying.
It's an extra. It's not necessary, but something that was recommended.
Got it.
But that's not in the 80,000
No,
anyway, right?
no.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we award the bid for the ADA bathroom and ramp in addition at the center to Olympus Construction, subject to funding approval.
This includes the ramp too, right?
That's correct.
So it's
Yeah, I
ramp
said
and
And the
ramp.
bathroom, yeah.
Bathroom and ramp and addition at the center,
I'll second that.
subject to the approval, the funding approvals, which will follow. So you seconded it?
I
Okay. Any
seconded
further discussion on this?
I don't see where we have a choice.
No.
I'm not happy about it. You know, we
No,
hired
if you
an
wanna do the
architect
project.
and he was a third off.
I think it's important. I
Yeah, I
really
mean, I don't see how we
We're-
avoid it.
It has to be done. So, I'll call the question. All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Who seconded that?
I did.
I did.
Terry,
no.
Terry, you made a
Who
motion.
made the motion? I
Oh,
seconded
okay.
it.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
knew I did something. I'm off tonight. Okay, great. Alright, so that's done. Now we go back to.
And everybody approved it.
Mhm.
Yep.
Now we go back to the funding, the approvals for it, which is actually C, funding requests, right?
Right, and
That's where it's
they're
at.
sort of in two different funding requests, just to,
Yep.
so you can easily follow where the funds are coming from.
Take it.
Okay. The first funding, it's a line item transfer actually, and it's from the 2018 fiscal year, and it's from funds that were remaining in both the senior center and the human services budget. They had, as we had indicated in our monthly reports, they had some funds remaining in their budget, and so this essentially would go to this project as this, instead of going to our fund balance at the end of the year.
How much was that? I don't have.
Oh, it's 40,000.
40,000.
Yeah.
So that's the first one.
That's the first one.
So, just to move it
Seems like
forward,
a
I'll make a
no-brainer.
motion that we approve, is this, wait a minute, I don't have.
28.
All right, I'll do it.
28? Well, there's 248,000.
What's the line item number? Is it here?
Mhm.
29.
223, 575, no, that's where it's coming
28.
from. I don't have the
17,
So, thank you.
18-28.
-28. I'll make a motion that we approve this, as described in this document, the line item transfer of $40,000 from the Human Services budgets listed to 2012 Housing Rehab Project. Is there a second?
7,000.
That's the name of the
Says-
account.
Oh, that's the name of the.
That's the
It's called the
grant fund.
2012
Transfer.
Housing Rehab Project.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You say so.
Been a while.
Yeah, yeah.
6 years, okay. We have a second? Thank you,
Joe
Joe.
seconded.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then there's a second part?
Yeah, the other $40,000.
Mhm.
It's just coming out of the fund balance.
It's from our capital account fund balance.
Okay, this is line item transfer 1718-29. Nope, that's the one we just did. Line item transfer 1819-01.
29. No,
No,
it's
this
29.
is-
We just
Oh
did
my
28.
God.
20,
Sorry.
29.
Okay. This transfer is needed to start the ADA bathroom and ramp project for the senior center. 40,000?
Mhm.
40, okay.
80 in
That's
total.
40 and 40 is 80,
Right.
yeah, that's the math. So, is there anything you want to add on that? No, okay, as described. I'll make a motion that we approve this line item transfer. Is there a second? I think lightning and thunder.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
So where's this
Any
coming
discussion?
from, Tony?
These are from capital projects that have been closed.
Aha, and we keep that money.
It's
so
in
this
the
could
capital
be-
account, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Did
It
we
is-
have any contingency money from that?
No, not from last year.
We didn't.
No, we have some in this, we didn't want to use this year's.
This year, meaning
In
this
19,
year?
yeah.
But we
Last year we
up
used it all, yeah.
We did,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, we have a
And
motion.
how much do we
Oops,
have in this account?
I'm just, I
There-
hate the way-
There's about $80,000.
We're using half of it.
Yeah, we're using half of it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Done. Thank you for your comments this evening, and off we go.
No.
Now we have item 9E. We have an update from Tony on the 9E, is the old firehouse update. What?
Funding request for the.
There's another,
senior lunch?
there's a funding request for the new year. It's actually a transfer of,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I told you it was gonna be
Sorry.
rough. Okay, but I've got it, right.
Yeah.
Line item 1819-01 in the amount of $11,350. I hate lightning and thunder. Transfers needed to cover the cost of the senior lunch program meals. This service is being provided by New England Young at Heart rather than having staff on the Human Services payroll. Just moving money from
Moving
one.
money from the staff account to the account where we pay
Right.
for contractors.
Right.
That's all. It's just a.
There's a memo in your packet from Mary Ellen
That's just
explaining
a-
it further.
It's
This
not
is
a
the
funding,
cafe?
really.
No, it's
a
an accounting
transfer of-
it's an accounting thing.
transfer.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve this line item. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, 9E, Old Firehouse update.
Okay. Just bear.
Oh my gosh.
It's rain, man.
Watering my new bushes.
To not bring an umbrella.
Alan would be happy with what I'm doing.
Right, who's parked closest? Who's driving me to my car? I saw you.
Okay, so,
Okay.
let me give the update. Everybody
Sure.
ready?
So we went out to bid for the plans for the former firehouse, and the results are on this budget. As you can see, it's somewhat significantly over budget here.
Shortfall.
It's a shortfall, right? So we have, currently we have about $700,000 between our grant and the insurance proceeds. So if you follow me here for a moment, the option for the second floor construction, which was for the Amity portion, is $324,000. That's why I included that in the revenues, just so you can sort of follow one equals the other. But you can see when you add in all the expenditures here, the budgeted expenditures, that we have a shortfall of about $1 million. So we don't have $1 million, clearly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I wanted to just show you that. And, the thing that we have to do here is to spend the grant. That's really the main.
That's the 500 then.
Right.
But I'm confused, because haven't we talked in the past about we were gonna use that for the boiler and certain things?
Right. So we went out. What we were thinking of doing was to just identify those items in the bid results, and then just pay for those items, and not do the rest of it.
Right, I thought we've talked.
Well, because last time we went over this, it was discussed by the board, and said, well, it's an important project. Let's see how much it's going to cost, and we have to get this building done.
We were saying it was an important project because the Amity program was
Yeah.
going to
Right.
save us
Right.
$250,000
That's correct.
a
That's
year.
exactly
Right.
correct. Yeah.
So we felt that was great.
So
So
we
at least
felt-
with them coming up,
Yeah, they've decided that they were going to go somewhere else for the year.
Oh.
They're still interested in this, but they've decided that they have another location that
Just
they
for
can
this
do.
year. They
just
didn't,
for
I
this
guess,
year.
for whatever reason, the Civic
Yeah.
building where they were perhaps
Okay.
gonna go, so that
Yeah.
is a move.
So that's all.
so we have 700,000. What can we do for that?
Right.
That's the idea.
Yep.
Right.
We gotta do something.
We'll get a
with the
recommendation
grant.
Right, to use the 500.
Exactly,
So
we need
Right.
to use that grant.
so do we have?
We'll get a recommendation for your next meeting from our architect and get the pricing from the bid, and then we can present that to you.
This is not the architect we used.
No.
on the- Okay, good.
Yes.
Wait, so I just want to make sure I'm reading this right. It's going to cost a little over $2 million to restore the old fire department.
For everything. This is for everything.
Right.
But it's just an
Upstairs-
old fire
upstairs,
department.
downstairs.
It's just
That
that
little
building.
big-
Elevator.
You bet.
the-
So I would say we
Forget
should
that.
go hire this guy who
Forget
could
that.
do the club, the country club for 1.5 because
The golf
they might be able
course.
to do it much
The
cheaper.
golf course for 1.5 million, I know.
Golf course for one.
Oy.
Golf course for 1.5.
Yeah,
I think
oh,
he said 2 million for the clubhouse. He
Yeah.
didn't recall.
Yeah, 2 million. Yeah.
It's much bigger than this one.
His numbers
But it is,
also way low.
I gotta tell you, it's
That's
$2 million.
This seems absurd to me. That it's $2 million
well, we
for
went out
that
to bid
tiny
a second
building.
time
We
because the
did.
first one was, really?
The first
So
one
we
was
did it as-
$1.8 million just
So
for
we
the
went out again.
construction. So the
and-
total is
and we
2.5.
got one- I think we got one bid the first time.
Right.
So the second time we went out, we got three
Three.
bids, I think.
If
Right.
you knocked it down and rebuilt, couldn't you do it for less than $2 million?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is in
you
historical
can't do that.
building.
I get
Part
that,
of it,
I get
part
that.
of it is, I'm not sure, yeah, I'm just saying.
Just
yeah.
doesn't add up.
So we're getting 500,000, which we have to spend. But we have to add $1.5 million to it to get the 500,000.
Not necessarily.
No, that's not.
We
But
have
we
about
have to use it
700 total,
at the
500 is a
firehouse
steep grant.
with the existing
understand that.
structure.
And we
Correct.
wanna find out, we're gonna try to figure out what we can do to spend the steep grant and perhaps a little bit more, the 700, so we can get,
And
we
then
don't,
we don't have to do anything else.
right,
You
we
don't-
just wait.
There's no,
We just don't have to do anything
Maybe
else.
we don't do the upstairs, we,
you know, the
elevator.
obligation for the grant is that the facility is designed to be a public use facility for, you know, residents
Yeah,
to
I
use.
think we
You
talked
can't like sell
about,
it and then,
No.
you know,
if I recall, I thought we were gonna use the 500 for the boiler and certain things.
Yeah.
And the 250 or whatever, like you said, we'll figure out what we can do.
right,
Wouldn't include the upstairs space that we were thinking
That's
of
correct, it would
leasing
not.
to Amity.
Right.
She wanted to do the
But we
upstairs
could
and not the
amortize,
downstairs.
if we got
which
them
is
on a
stupid.
long-term lease,
Right.
that would
You could.
provide the funding
You could.
to do that.
you
That-
could.
Right.
So we look at that as a separate deal.
You could,
What happened to them?
you could design
not
a
doing it
debt
this
structure,
year, so.
a debt
Right.
repayment around a lease
Around
with
the
Amity.
lease, right, so the lease
Absolutely.
would finance.
The
Or in a
project,
sense, it's a
that's,
zero.
that's correct.
But that's still a
I
possibility.
think, yeah, and you would also,
Yes.
you would also be, would be able to fine tune the number more if you knew exactly what you were putting in the building. So there were some assumptions that had to be made on highest and best use because there was no direction on what's gonna be in the facility.
Right. Exactly.
Well, you'll have to stage the construction then until we get some funding.
Right, so, you know, you could figure all that out. In the meantime, we could do the boiler and the,
Right.
Yeah, we should figure out
Stuff.
what we can do for the 700.
Maybe the elevator.
750.
Right.
Yep.
you know.
And then we had discussions with Amity. Was there any were there price
Well,
discussions?
so there's just on this bid, there's a rough, it gives you an idea of how much it would be.
Yeah, but no, I meant on the lease discussion.
Oh, we haven't, no.
Because we need that as part, we need to know how we could fund it.
We have not, but we can.
And
Yeah.
That's how
We
we
can do
pay
that as
for
well.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So, we'll get back to you, I guess, we'll do some more.
Yeah, well, the most pressing thing is to get back to you with what we can do to move forward with the grant.
And we have to spend that grant by when?
Next July 1st.
Spend
Had an
or start the
extension.
project, or start the construction?
It has to be, we have to have had paid the invoice to the contractor.
For the whole job?
No, just the 500,000.
But for the 500,
Yeah,
so we got less than a year
right.
to decide what to do.
So if you
get
do
the
it in two
contract.
phases, you can get someone on board next month and they can finish by, you know, December.
Okay,
And then we can spend it and that's it.
okay. So we create.
We,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Correct.
We just found out some of this today, so. Okay, just to keep you updated,
Okay.
that's good. Item 10, anything else on that? Sorry.
No,
Cut
that's it.
everybody off, okay, guys. Item 10, the Assistant Administrative
No.
Officer's Report.
Quick update for you. Last month I told you that I've been working with CT Rides to try to figure out how to encourage carpooling among Woodbridge residents. And I had a meeting with them and the Yale Sustainability Office, and we decided to hold 2 different events in October. And the timing would allow us to take advantage of the Fallapalooza marketing to try and get the word out even more. Yale is willing to help us by reaching out to Yale employees who happen to be Woodbridge residents, and we'll hold one event at Yale for Woodbridge residents who commute into downtown New Haven. We'll hold another event here in town, most likely at the JCC in the evening on another date for folks who either can't make that time or don't commute to the Yale area. And they'll learn about how carpooling works and hopefully meet somebody with whom they might want to try carpooling. And there will be a day that we'll call a Try It Day to encourage people to carpool for at least one day and just see how they feel about the concept.
If they don't like the person either, they're stuck with, it's one shot.
Right, well it's a big commitment, so it's just kind of an easy way to try it.
Right.
So that'll be part of Fallapalooza. The Ad Hoc Community Council is hard at work at pulling together Fallapalooza. I think it'll be the 4th annual one this year. And I'll have more information for you and hopefully a flyer at the next board meeting. And in your packets, I hope you all have a copy of the draft beautification plan that I mentioned to you at last month's meeting. So I was just hoping that you might be able to take a moment, take a look at it, and see if you have any thoughts on things that you think should be added or things that you feel might not be appropriate on the list. And my thought is, after I've had some feedback from the board, I'd like to take it to recreation, the library, human services, probably COOPOP also, and get their feedback, and then come back to you all and let you know how they feel about this concept.
Anybody have any comments tonight, or you just want to think about it further and get back to either me or Betsy on some of this? It's not going to all get done in.
Absolutely.
We have to find it. Yeah. But just the thoughts I've had over the last year. Okay.
I like the idea.
Thank you.
Making it a little more aesthetically appealing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there should be something in your packet, I thought.
Let's do that in our doing.
Oh, like an actual drawing? No, because the way that I'm thinking about this is that I don't think that all of these things will happen, and so I think there's a lot of different variations on the way things could end up looking. So for example, on here there's the concept of purchasing a few barbecue grills for the Grove.
Right.
Maybe that's not something that people think should happen, or maybe we all think it should happen, but it just doesn't end up happening. So I think there's a lot of variations on what
It's
this could
more
look
of
like.
brainstorming.
Right.
This is our brainstorming
Yeah.
day or 2 or 3.
Where is the Grove?
So the Grove is the area between the old firehouse and the library.
Oh, okay, where
Mhm.
the Christmas trees are sold.
Yes,
Got
where
it.
the bocce court is. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So you're proposing open fires in the pine grove?
Yeah.
Sure. That's the sort of thing I'd like to get feedback on.
We had the fire
Yeah.
department across the street.
That's true.
I'm not sure too much.
No, they did it the other day. 2 years, the Coachman Square
Yeah.
did it.
Fun fair.
They brought the
And
girls.
Jerry told me that there used to be barbecue grills in that area.
And just the simple rectangular ones on a post
Yeah.
for, charcoal. Charcoal.
Right.
Okay, permits galore, insurance.
Throwback.
God help us.
Good
Okay.
old days.
So in the interim, if anyone has any thoughts, please let me know. I'd love to.
What a dog.
It's on the list.
How about a
And
what?
now we can cross it off.
That's
What?
Starbucks.
That's what how many dog fight.
Yeah, how about it? It's on here, create a dog park. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, moving along, item communications director and grant writers report. Sheila.
I'm here to update you once more on the Sustainable CT certification effort. The most recent ad hoc committee meeting, we went through the entire spreadsheet of actions. Again, that deadline is coming up August 24th, so after this meeting concludes, everything I'm thinking about is going to revolve around the sustainability grant. So what was identified at the most recent meeting was a series of potential actions that we're going to be submitting. So we have 24 separate action items that we are actively working on to get submitted, many of which have already been submitted since that meeting identified them. The key with the program is you have to have actions that get awarded points in all 10 categories. So some of the actions require multiple documents, and some of the projects that we're going to submit for can look back up to 10 years. So things like our involvement in the CPACE program, which is loans that we use to help the JCC get the solar panels, our smoke-free policy in the town, the street lamps that you guys approved back in February and has now completed the project to put LED lights. The microgrid itself, which is a big project we're going to submit as an innovation. Our EV charging stations, the higher energy performance that we have at both Beecher and Amity, and a variety of sustainability events. So all told, we feel like we are on track to have items in all categories and to total up to 200 points, which is what is required to get the bronze certification. So we're going to execute now and make that happen. So John Gorham, our chair of our committee, is here. He wants to present to you one of the action items of the 10 was with respect to housing and equitable housing arrangements. John recognized that we needed something in that category, and he went and spent, was it the whole day at a workshop?
2/3 of the day.
2/3 of a day at a workshop, And by attending that, he's getting 2 different sets of points for us. So he has a document, which I have copies of, which I'm going to send over to you. So this is our housing data profile for the Partnership for, Partnership for Strong Communities. And part of the workshop revolved around looking through these numbers and then doing an analysis. So this is a report that is the analysis. I want to just stress to everyone that this needs to be presented or given to the Board of Selectmen. There is no action item. You do not need to approve it. There are no next steps. This is information sharing, and in order to get points, we need to show from the minutes of this meeting that we're sharing it with you. So John's going to come up and talk about it a little bit. Let's see.
Welcome, John. Thank you. Thank you for all your efforts. And just so you, I don't know if you were here earlier, but Michelle is now a member. Michelle Cohen is now a member of your
official
as well. Officially appointed this evening.
Terrific. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. As you know, my name is John Gorham. I'm the chair of the town's Ad Hoc Sustainability Committee, and I'm happy to report, thanks to Sheila's careful guidance, with help from town staff members Betsy, Terry Gilbertson, Christine Sullivan, and our hardworking volunteers on the committee, we fully intend to complete this very complex and detailed submission. As Sheila's just mentioned, it's coming up August 24th, so a lot of people, including Amity High School senior and other public citizens, have helped out on this. It's a massive amount of work. So I'm glad to see this come to fruition. The reason we're doing it, of course, is if we get this bronze certification, it should open up a number of funding opportunities for the town, so we can do other sustainability projects. So it's a great key, perhaps, to opening up the treasure chest. I feel sort of like a circus dog jumping through hoops. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do, right? And as Sheila said, so I'm here to just present, for information purposes, what I did back on July 11th. In order to fulfill our obligation to get something in each of the 10 categories, there was one for housing, sustainable housing, and we sort of scratched our heads and said, well, okay, what does that mean? So I did attend this seminar up in Manchester, Connecticut, and we looked at both the equity piece of it and sustainable housing. The requirement was to look at this data sheet that was put together by the Partnership for Strong Communities and then answer 7 questions. So we did that, and Sheila and I worked with Terry and Christine Sullivan to really accurately, as best we could, answer those questions. What we found out was, because of all the work you have done here in the town, what was presented in this wasn't entirely accurate. I think they recognize that. They put out 169 of these, one for every municipality in the state. So it gives Woodbridge the opportunity to go back and say, hey, well, you know, your statistics are a couple years old, or that's not exactly right. You're not really representing Woodbridge the way we think it is. So that's an important point. I think what this represents is an opportunity for the town to look at things like senior housing and other activities. There's no action that's required. What's good about this is once we get this submission in, I think there's a pretty good chance that the town would get this bronze certification, which is as high as any municipality can get this first round. The certification lasts for a year, and when I was speaking to the economic development person in Hamden, she thought that this was so much paperwork and so onerous that they probably wouldn't even apply. So if we get, if the town gets this, the certification, it gives us a great springboard for other grant opportunities. So that's pretty much what I'd like to report. One footnote, as you know, I'm president of Mazzaro Community Farm, and a chunk of these points for the town will come from activities that are run over at the farm. Things like the Beecher Road School food reduction program that we ran, stuff at the library, Menu for the Future. There's a lot that you all have supported, we have supported through Mazzaro Farm. And I would be remiss if I didn't say what's good for Mazzaro is good for the town. And we have a big dinner on the farm coming up September 2nd.
My favorite.
So I'm going to make sure everybody gets 5 of these cards.
I got 6 tickets. We're coming.
I know, that's great. So please spread these around because we have 180 seats and it's always a sellout. So you don't want to miss out.
And great auction items too.
And great auction items. Also, Mary Evelyn Tucker and John Grimm, who have our Emmy award-winning movie producers, Yale lecturers. They're doing a free outdoor movie showing Thursday, August 16th at the farm. So please come to that. It's another way we're building community there. That's all I have to say. Any questions about either the answers that Betsy, Sheila, Terry, and I, Christine, put together?
I have one quick
Yes.
question. How would, I'm just thinking of this recent proposal and, you know, others that we've seen with the 55 and over, how would that potentially affect this, like, analysis?
Yeah, it's a good question, and that's one area where there have been various proposals. The demographics that I've looked at, being a person 55 or older, just slightly over 55. There are people that would like to live in this town and have access to, you know, elderly housing or 55 and older housing. So it would be an example, I think, of how the town would be moving in the direction that is being suggested to be more sustainable, to allow people who may have had a bigger home, their kids have fledged, they leave the nest, they still want to stay in Woodbridge, so it could be a sustainable action for the town.
It's good to know.
Any other questions? I'll make sure everybody gets 5 of these. I'll pass them around.
Yeah.
All right.
John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Sheila?
Now that's it for now.
Okay, thank you. Town council's report. The Amity transition.
That lease, we did the lease, and we just found out today that Amity found a different location. It's not going to be
For this year.
So,
For this
Just
year.
for 1 year?
Yeah.
Just for 1 year, yeah.
But this was room 13.
yeah.
They're still interested in the firehouse, though? That
Yeah.
other program?
They are, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, good. That's where I was confused. So this one fell apart.
This one fell apart. So that's it.
Thank you. Personnel committee.
Sharon,
Is that next?
pretty good.
14?
Yeah. I'll hand out the resumes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Here you go.
I'm mixed up. These things I don't need.
Do you have these?
You and I can share.
Take 3.
We only have 3 left, sorry.
Oh, I have copies already. You need them.
Mine's in the mess in the office.
I brought mine just
There you go.
because I knew we were going to
There
talk
we
about it.
Okay, the personnel committee met this afternoon at 4 o'clock. And our 3 personnel, myself, Terry, and David, Dr. Lober were in attendance, along with Tony. And we invited Eric Worthman to come to us, and he presented us with a recommendation to promote Jennifer Sullivan from Adult Services Librarian to Head of Adult Services. The July 25th minutes that are in this packet that we just gave out from the Library Commission recommended to do that. And I'm sorry, that was the June 11th Library Commission meeting. And then the July 25th minutes in this packet contain the Commission's recommendation to hire Elena Fernandez to replace as Adult Services Librarian Jennifer Sullivan's position. The resumes are in the packet, and it was the unanimous recommendation of the Personnel Committee to move forward on both these hirees. What else do I gotta do?
The one for Jennifer Sullivan was requested to be retroactive to July 1st.
Right.
As she's already sort of begun that work.
Right. In the interest of time, they had to start the first position. We couldn't get a personnel committee meeting through till today. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Maybe David or Terry?
You want to make a
Jeremy?
motion? Do we have to make a motion for you?
We do.
Yeah, because we just made a motion to recommend them to you.
Okay,
to
so maybe we
board
should
for
do the motion
approval.
Do
first.
the motion and then
okay.
you can.
You want to make the motion?
motion, or can I? Is there a conflict because I made the motion for the
No.
personnel
No.
committee? Okay, so I'd like to make the motion for the Board of Selectmen to accept the recommendations by the personnel committee for the, am I doing one at a time?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the promotion of Jennifer Sullivan to head of adult services for the Woodbridge Town Library.
Retroactive. to the
Retroactive
beginning of the fiscal
July
year.
1st.
July 1.
July 1, 2018.
Yeah, thanks. Is there a second? Any further
Who seconded that?
comments or
Yeah, you did.
discussions?
What's the budgetary impact?
You were gonna ask me that question. I have it written down on
We
my
asked
desk. I will
that.
bring it. Okay, you want me to go get it? I can certainly go get it for you. It's
Well, give us the
50. They're both within budget, but it's.
There was a s-
Are there one
Thought
of
there
these
was
There was a
little bit of
slight,
savings.
there's a 2%
No.
savings according
The second
to,
one.
oh, right,
Second one.
for the COLA.
But neither one of these are additional.
They're not new positions. They're not additional positions. They're
So
within
it's
the
not
budget. It's
additional
filling.
money at all.
No.
Nope.
So, all in favor? Okay, thank you. And then David, you want to read the second one, or you want me to do it? Thank you, okay.
There's three.
I'll make a motion that we approve the recommendation from Library Services Director Eric Workman, bless you, whoever sneezed, okay, to hire Elaine Fernandez to replace Jennifer Sullivan as Adult Services Librarian. And is that one? No, it's only Jen's that's July 1st.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to forget again. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Mika actually did.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
We had one other position.
Yeah.
We did.
There's one of them.
Is that in here as well?
It's just a letter.
Okay.
He's an existing employee.
Is it where, what was passed out before?
The last page.
Last page.
So, maybe you want to give the history
Sure.
of how we got here.
Sure, we had a vacancy in our, this is for our custodian position, which is the 2 to 10 shift. So you'll see, usually sometimes we do meetings, the custodian. And it's a very important position because, you know, this person locks up all the buildings and is around in the evenings for programs, and sometimes is the only person on staff in some of these buildings. So it's important you have someone who's responsible and who interacts well with employees and with residents. And this is the former position. Those of you who remember William, who used to fill this position, right? So we had filled it about a year and a half ago, and that person just recently resigned. And so we needed someone in a hurry. And Mark, who has been working at the library since 2013, I think. Yeah, so 5 years he's worked there on a part-time basis. Woodbridge resident, was interested in filling in, had a little bit of experience in this area and had learned quickly about it. So we had him fill in since then, and he's done an excellent job. And he is very well liked and does a great job cleaning, and we highly recommend him.
Right, the personnel, it was the unanimous recommendation of the Personnel Committee to hire Mark. And Eric happened to be there and he had worked at the library, so we asked him as well. He said, great recommendation, so.
So I'll make a motion to
Thank you.
approve the hire of Mark Dutke for custodian at the town hall in the Senate building, is that correct?
He'll cover all of our buildings, but those are his two primary.
All right.
But he'll cover, you know, police and
So we'll hire him as a custodian for
the town, right?
And
Did you
this,
put an effective date?
I think
It'll be effective tomorrow.
when we sign
and
off,
is
I
this
guess.
salary? Do you want to put the
$18.12.
Yeah, $18.12.
$18.12.
Remember that.
Good
I don't know
call.
why.
Thank you, good job.
It was a
More
great
of
year.
1812. Yeah, that's what I think.
That's great.
That wasn't in here, so about 1812.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought we'd throw it in. Okay,
I'll second that, Gary.
thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Only, do we have to do something at the library now?
It's a part-time position. I'm not sure they're gonna fill that right away. And you usually don't. The commission hires part-time positions.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the town clerk's report. You have in your packet the town clerk's reports, the two and the monthly report through July 31st, 2018. I'll make a motion that we approve them both. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And last but not least are the minutes, and in your packet are the draft minutes of the Board of Selectmen regular meeting of Wednesday, July 11th. I'll make a motion that we approve them. Is there a second?
Second.
Any corrections, additions, discussions, changes? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you all. All in favor?
Aye.
I was adjourning when we started the night, so.